All righty. Thank you all so much for joining the webinar today, where we're going to chat a little bit about how to create a thriving Twitter community. It is 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, which means we're going to go ahead and get started here. So like I said, we are going to be having a lot of really fun chats going on with these webinars. So make sure that you reach out to each other, as well as my colleague Jess over in the chat box on the right as we do get started here. So essentially today we wanted to focus a little bit on Twitter, just because it is one of the major networks that Edgar supports in order to get your consistent updates out to your followers. For those of you who don't know, we do love to give away swag in these webinars. So make sure that as you're participating, you're helping each other out, asking questions. And Jess is going to randomly pick someone from the chat box over there in order to get some awesome Edgar swag to wear with pride out there in the world. So get those questions not only to help each other out, but also for a chance to win that Edgar swag. Cool. For those of you who are new and don't know about Edgar, we are a social media automation tool that helps really make sure your automation and your updates that you're putting out in the social media world provide a really nice and strong, robust, consistent following for your followers to be able to really get to know your brand. Here at MeetEdgar, it was developed by our founder, Laura, basically off of a lot of the challenges that you all face as small business owners. She had an education business in which she was finding it hard to keep up with all the spreadsheets that she had to market her social media on. She had to really make sure that she was recycling all of this hard work she was putting into her videos, her blog posts. So she developed this tool, Edgar, to help out with it. And the cool thing about it, it is really a partnership. We are all in this together, really trying to make sure that we're staying up with social media trends and really trying to make sure that we're helping each other out, which is one of the reasons we really do love giving these webinars. Social media changes so quickly, and MeetEdgar does like to stay on the top of that. So Twitter specifically, everyone's community is a little bit different on social media. We definitely want to stress there's no hard and fast rules, no magic kind of pill in order to make sure that your Twitter, your Facebook, your LinkedIn marketing is perfect compared to everyone else's. So taking the time to pull out your pencil today and write down some actionable things that you can do for your specific community. We really want to stress that you need to learn about your community, create objectives that are really going to guide your behavior, and watch how your community responds over time. These things that are really harped into people are so, so important. So everything that we're going through here today, I want you to kind of filter through the lens of your business goals and objectives, not necessarily MeetEdgar's. While there are some kind of rules that help to make Twitter marketing really successful, just take a few minutes at the end of this webinar to really write down practical ways that your audience can benefit from these tips. Twitter really is one of the trickier marketplaces because it's so fast paced and one of the biggest networks in the world. And our job as marketers is to really cut through the sound to reach our audience, to build trust with them, with their technologies, and to really authentically connect with our community. And where this starts out is actually going to be internally. Let's make sure that you guys have such a strong brand voice that the messages that you're putting out there are fresh and original and convey your brand's messages to really reflect your core values, and most importantly, to resonate with your audience in a personal way. And how this starts is making sure everyone internally in your company has a connection to those core values. This can be something as simple as saying, hey, who's doing my social media? Who's going to go ahead and get all these updates out there? What am I calling them? Am I just calling them my virtual assistant, or am I calling them my social media manager? Consider changing that internal language to something like a community manager, or to some reason to give them an empowered vision that their job is to foster a community within your network, and to really make sure your core values as a business shine through to your members, shine through to your followers, so they feel that sort of brand affinity that is going to be so important during social media marketing. Cool. So jumping in here, once you do get your language down and all of your employees are feeling nice and empowered for social media, we want you to always remember that Twitter is where you go to listen as much as you speak. So this is social media, and this is going to be a really strong emphasis on the social part. One of the things I like to do as a test is thinking, every tweet you're sending out there, think of it like a dinner party conversation. Doing things like opening up about personal content, sharing your story so your community wants to share theirs back. It's all about that human to human connection. It's not a business to business transaction on Twitter. It's humans talking to each other. This platform might have been developed on this technology, but who gets Twitter chats going? Who actually invented the hashtag? It's the users who have actually done this and put their personality and put their likes and interests in there. So make sure you're listening. Make sure that you think, when I go to a dinner party, how would I talk to someone about my business? And use that colloquial language in order to connect in a really awesome way with your followers. Next, creating partnerships. So influencer marketing, I'm sure you all know, is more important than ever. You need to let people in your community know that you are a voice in your niche who is an expert. People want to really love your perspective. They want to be able to have your thoughts. They want to be able to retweet you. So the goal is not to write that exact same content over and over. It's to really provide a fresh perspective on the same ideas within your community. Make sure that your content is going above and beyond what your competitors are providing, making sure that your successful posts are explained, in a really kind of actionable tutorial, using these partnerships to get all your information out there to their communities, and really making sure you're fostering, again, that human to human connection. Last, throughout this entire webinar, we're going to go back to this idea that Twitter is where you go to add value. You can answer questions, share information, and be a force for really good in the community if you're providing value, basing your content strategy on what your audience wants and needs, and you are guaranteed results that way. The purpose of every piece of content should be able to be something that your community wants to share. If there's not a quote, or if you want to take a little extra time to think about how you can frame an article to reflect your business's viewpoints, all of this stuff should be kind of filtered through this lens of how is someone getting value from this. Cool. So as we start out here, before we go into too much more content strategy, let's chat a little bit about the traditional ways of finding followers, as well as some new kind of ideas that you can get into. We do like to say start small and build over time. For example, you might set an initial objective to find like 10 or 20 followers a week, going out there, making sure that you're looking in your industry, your niche, to see what the other voices are saying, and going ahead and following them, talking to them. And if you're providing value in that way, they'll probably follow you back. That's kind of like a really great technological networking event. But other things you can do is go out to meetups, go to networking events, do all of these things, and make sure that you're really connecting with people who are at these events, mentioning your Twitter handle, getting theirs. If they don't tweet you, you go home from that networking event and you tweet them, and I guarantee you that sort of connection, that they met you face to face and they have that Twitter connection, will increase the likelihood they'll follow you, building your network of people who really know who you are, rather than just random followers who aren't going to be as engaged or as bought into your brand and your personality. Next, cross-promote your tweets in a really meaningful way, doing things like embedding a click to tweet on your blog post, embedding your Twitter handle in places that people can find it. Doing these things, kind of leaving little breadcrumbs around the internet where you can think of, just to, again, make it easy, no barrier to entry for your followers to go ahead and find your Twitter handle. Last, company swag. We are giving out MeetEdgar swag in this webinar. Think of creative ways you can surprise and delight your community and give them all of that awesome, who doesn't love a free t-shirt kind of branding that's out there. You can put your Twitter handle on it if it's a cute one. At MeetEdgar is a pretty fun one. We do love our little octopus with his personality. So think of ways you can get it out there that's out of the tech sphere in order to build up your community and really make that connection with them. Again, incorporating buttons into your funnel systems, not only your newsletters, your landing pages, your blog posts, lower barrier to entry. People are moving so quick these days. The easier they can find that on the side panel, the better. Cool. So moving along here, these are just some numbers that are pretty staggering and really show why you need to make sure that you are consistently automating, consistently engaging, and really keeping up with your Twitter community. 5 million tweets per day are sent. That is insane. So there's a lot of noise out there. It's not enough just to follow people anymore on Twitter, because all of that's just getting lost in the feed. If you really want to build up a Twitter community around your business, you need to give people a reason to follow you back. Every time that you think about how staggering these numbers are, also think that, your followers, they're not necessarily logging on every day either. The majority of Twitter followers don't log on every day. However, when they do log on, they're probably just scrolling through their feed for a minute and perhaps abandoning the site. So if you're giving someone a reason to consistently log on to Twitter to make sure they're seeing your Throwback Thursday posts that always make them laugh, or to make sure they're seeing your Tip Tuesday posts that they know they're going to gain some valuable insight into the industry and into the business, you're more likely to get these people to log on every day. And utilizing a tool like Edgar with our category-based systems can really allow you to do that in a really consistent and awesome and not time-consuming way at all. All right. And yes, be real. We've been talking about value-added content marketing throughout this webinar series. However, we know you guys are planning promotions as well. So don't forget to also let your members know when you're running deals. Don't forget to let your members know, hey, this is what we're up to. This is how we're going to help offer you value with a discount to our product. And again, if you're offering that value-added content throughout the year, it is more likely your followers are going to be able to say, hey, oh, wow, that's right. My business could utilize this, and go ahead and jump on board with you guys. Here, it's a conversation. So always remembering on Twitter that, again, it's that human-human connection that we want to stress so much. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, there's a section in Twitter. And if you're logged into your account, all you need to do is say analytics.twitter.com. And this will take you to where you're able to see your Twitter analytics. When you get there, from this little navigation bar screenshot you see at the bottom, if you go to that tweets tab, and then you go ahead and set a date range over there on the right, this will actually go ahead and give you a list of your posts that are doing well. Within Edgar, we always like to say experimenting with different categories, doing stuff like that is a great way to learn what type of content your members do want to see, but also pay attention to the smaller factors like, hey, are you asking a question in the morning and it's going unanswered, but when that question category comes up on your Edgar schedule in the afternoon, do you get a lot of responses? Okay, awesome. It looks like your community is a lot more engaged in the afternoon. Make sure that you're really bucketing your posts around that time. Not only can you find things out in your Twitter analytics about what types of posts they're doing well and what times they're doing well, other things you can figure out is like what kind of TV your followers like. You can figure out if the majority of your followers are men or women, what their average income is even. It is insane the amount of demographic information that Twitter analytics holds. So don't let that go to waste. Log into your Twitter analytics, look around so that, again, you're understanding your audience. So the content you're providing them is always adding value. Cool. So after talking about all those scary numbers, definitely don't want you to be that afraid of Twitter. We want to make sure that all the content you're putting out there, when you do catch your followers online, is going to lead not only to your business goals, but also providing them value. So these are some things that I always like to stress, as well as you're getting used to this idea that tweeting might take, 5 tweets a day, 10 tweets a day. And a lot of times as a small business owner, you might feel a little bit self-conscious about how much content you're sending out on Twitter. That seems like maybe too much. But we want to really stress that what's the worst thing that's going to happen if someone sees 2 tweets from you in a day? A, if you're doing it right, they're getting that much more double value from you. And B, it's probably something they're going to be excited to be able to learn about. And as you're doing promotions, especially on social media, there's the statistic that it takes about 16 touch points for someone these days, 16 touch points in order to really buy in and establish a brand connection in order to convert them to a customer or to buy your product. So when you're doing this, you never know when you're going to catch someone in an emotional state when they're ready to buy. You never know when you're going to catch someone in a location where they have their credit card ready to subscribe to your service. So that's why playing around with your schedule, doing different time frames and different types of posts throughout the day is so important. And always making sure that when you're doing this, you get that irresistible offer out there. You're understanding your audience with all your awesome Twitter analytics research. You're getting that irresistible offer out there in front of the people at the right place at the right time. And you're guaranteed to get those brand advocates who are really going to be able to connect with your brand and convert into awesome, loyal customers. Cool. So after talking a little bit about these numbers, about scheduling, about analytics and stuff, let's talk a little bit about content. So how do you actually make people smile, build a relationship, or ask them to buy something in just 280 characters? Well, I'm going to challenge you not to limit yourself to 280 characters. There are a ton of cool strategies that we can take in order to really make sure that you're connecting in an authentic way with your audience. First of all, video. You can upload video to Twitter. Don't forget about that. You can even upload video into MeetEdgar in order to schedule it to go out. You can do this with YouTube links as well as direct upload. So it's an awesome feature that you're able to take advantage of to get this authentic content out there, as well as giving you a little bit more time and space in order to say what you want to say in more than 280 characters. If you're struggling to come up with other ideas on how you can produce video, some of my favorite things that I see companies do, and some things that we do here at MeetEdgar, are you can take some of the more common customer support pre-sale questions you get or customer support troubleshooting questions you get and answer those over video. Show your community you are listening, and it's not just someone who is at like a call center who's answering these emails. It is you. It is the founder of your business. It's your marketing person, whoever is going to be really comfortable to get in front of that camera and put a face to your business. Really making sure that you're getting those customer support questions answered is a cool way to, again, make sure that your audience knows you're listening. Introducing your blog over video. You know, you guys spend so much time creating all this awesome blog content. Make sure your community knows about it by not only promoting those URL links on social media, but introduce the key concepts for people who might not have time to read the entire article. Pull out 1, 2, 3 tips from there that'll really kind of get to the punch, wet their whistle, and let them know that it is worth reading your blog. And video is an awesome way to do this rather than just texting again, or sorry, rather than just getting that text URL out there. Cool. The last thing that I like to suggest here is similar to that customer support feature. If you have a feature request that you know is going to be built, let your community know about your roadmap, whether it's a physical product or a software service. If you're letting people know about your product and you're really getting it out there and you're building some excitement up, they're probably going to talk to their friends about it. They're going to say, hey, look what MeetEdgar is going to build soon, or hey, look what this shoe company is going to release soon. Getting all of that hype out there, and your video, if you're coming in with the punch, if you're bringing that energy, is going to show them how excited they should be. Cool. So now that we've talked a little bit about the way that you can kind of get creative in getting out from that 280 character limit, if you are doing a text update and staying within that 280 character limit, there's 3 steps that I like to really kind of go through here. Step 1, when you're crafting your tweet, is to provide a tantalizing tidbit. And this can come off of the idea that writing headlines is so important for your blog post because you're able to create a lot of curiosity in it. I'm sure your marketing team or you as a solopreneur sit down and think, you know, hey, how is this going to provide the facts as well as an interesting title that's going to compel people to click on it? And this is providing a tantalizing tidbit, just in a different sort of language. So think about how you can spark some curiosity in your tweet. Think about if it's a question, if it's something funny, anything you can put in there. Add some personality. Again, that person-to-person connection is going to move people to act on social media more than anything else. And then adding images to your posts. So you can do this whether it's a static image or make sure that you guys are also taking advantage of Twitter cards. If you don't know what Twitter cards are, definitely take a peek at our webinar on OG image tags and Twitter cards, or email support@meetedgar.com and we can get you all the information there. It's a couple of lines of code you have to add to your blog in order to enable it. And then this URL right here, card/dev.twitter.com/validator, is going to actually allow you to see what your Twitter cards will look like. So this is an awesome example from National Geographic here. You know, they have this really rich content, and thinking about if you just shared this link without the Twitter card underneath it, definitely not as compelling as if you enable those Twitter cards. You get this awesome image for people to click through on. So it functions similar to how Facebook previews are auto-generated. It's just something you have to do on the back end of your site there. Cool. So this side, the new buzzword is going to be going for meaningful engagement. So meaningful engagement is coming up not only in things like how Facebook's new algorithm is really set up. If you listened at all to the Google keynote speaker recently, meaningful engagement with your technology is the way that they're taking your product. Twitter just released that they're no longer allowing you to send the same tweet to your account more than once. And all of these things, if you kind of look at them in a whole, is every single technology brand seems to be going, hey, let's not just use technology for technology's sake. Let's really add some engagement and put the people back into it. So making sure as you are crafting these 280 character tweets that anything you can do to be more meaningful in it, whether it's adding in your personality, whether it's adding in value, that's what's really going to connect with your community authentically. And shareable content. We do a lot of talking about creating share-worthy content on social media. And one of the ways that I kind of like to think about what share-worthy content is thinking, if I had a friend who would need help with an article or who would need to smile from an inspirational quote, something like that, who would I share this with, and that's a great way to be like, hey, this is something that's going to provide value not only to my followers, but if you're writing it in the sense that you're writing this for a friend, the language is going to come off so much more authentically and so much more colloquially, connecting with your followers as well. All of your followers, give them a reason to hold on for more. This is really just that concept of asking questions, taking time, setting aside 15 minutes a day to go on, respond to your direct messages, and really make sure that you're getting out there and showing your community you are there for them when they need you. So stop posting for posting's sake, going along with this same theme. Over here, you can see tweet impressions is one of the top things that Twitter shows you on your analytics. However, I'm going to challenge you to know that, impressions are awesome. You're hitting people, your brand voice is out there, but this number shouldn't rule your strategy at all. Making sure you're getting those meaningful connections out there. And you no longer want to just kind of show up in someone's feed. You no longer just want to interrupt their day in order for them to see your brand. What you really want to do is add value to their day. And another way of saying this is just to be a giver, not a taker. And a way that you can really find this out too is to take some risks. Again, there's so much noise out there on social media that if you're the one who's out there taking a risk of sharing your opinion on a trending topic, of sharing something that you might think is a little bit more edgy than your business goes for usually, something like that, learn if your followers respond to it. And remember, your followers don't expect perfection on social media. They're there to connect with their friends and family. They're there to really escape from their day, learn something. So don't be afraid to kind of get in there and act as yourself and really make that connection. Cool. So curated content is another awesome way in order to engage and kind of create a community who really likes to and knows how to find all of your awesome information online. So curated content, as you can see over here, this is a tweet that Edgar sent out. Not only does it have the benefit that you're able to tag the person who created it, again, making that kind of personal connection, not saying, hey, this is just for my thousands of followers, rather saying, hey, thanks for all of that meaningful information you provided me at handle. This is a really cool one from our specific blog because it also shows a strategy. If you're finding it hard to get all your information in language within the one tweet, don't be afraid to add in that screenshot. This gives you much more room in order to say what you need to say and in order to provide that value right there. Curated content is also awesome. You might think, why am I sharing other people's content when I start to take on all of this of creating my own? One thing kind of workflow I like to suggest is think about that coworker who might follow you and is talking to someone around the water cooler and saying, hey, I don't have to spend that much time going out and looking for XYZ content anymore because I follow this really awesome Twitter account. MeetEdgar is always curating content, so I know they're providing me with the best stuff out there, and I don't have to kind of wade through the noise and Google these topics. She's telling her coworker what she does. That coworker is now compelled to follow you. And they know that they don't have to kind of think about what's going on in the industry news because you're going to provide them the top quality content every time they log in. So don't be afraid to share other people's content. That is still adding huge value to your followers. Are you building relationships with your audience by sharing content? You'll know their love. If so, you should be focusing on that article and video and not you. So this example here from a tea brand shows that, I think, perfectly. You can see here, it's not necessarily something that they wrote in this blog post. It's written by an entirely different brand called Clean Plates. However, they know their community is really obsessed with healthful living. They really want to get all of that information out there. So sharing this blog post is adding value. Again, not being afraid to say, hey, this is curated content I know will provide you value. I want you to get the best information in this industry. Getting personal in your tweets. So I don't know if any of you know, Pat Flynn is a podcaster who has grown a really amazing raving fan community out there. And one of the things that he likes to say is, if you're struggling to get personal in your tweets, if you find it easy to just post your links to your URLs, to your blog posts and other people's content, but really finding it hard to get personal, think about what the nerdiest thing you like is. Are you a comic book nerd? Do you like a certain type of music more than anyone else? Pat Flynn's thing is he loves Back to the Future more than anyone else. So looking at this tweet here explains it perfectly. His entire followers know that he loves Back to the Future, and those who share that with him are going to just that much more strongly connect with him as a person, really kind of making sure that anywhere, anytime that name comes up, if they're thinking about Back to the Future, his name is going to be in conjunction with that. So get personal, think about the nerdiest thing you like, and that's what's going to bring people in to love you as a business, to love your brand that much more. Cool, hashtags. So if you guys are using Twitter as well, knowing that you can add hashtags in is great. Experimenting with them, seeing what works well. Don't go hashtag crazy though. Again, barrier to entry on social media. People are moving fast through that Twitter feed. So typically we like to say about 2 hashtags per tweet is a really great place to start. We also want you to know you can track your hashtags. There are many tools out there that are really awesome resources in order to see which ones people are clicking on. Twitter itself has a trending section to show you not only what hashtags are trending within your industry, but just overall. And since Twitter is such a timely network, make sure that you're getting all of that information and really getting it out there. Scheduling your tweets within Edgar is an awesome strategy, but making sure you're also taking time to tweet about things that are going on in the real world. And making sure, again, that it's concise and easy to read. Capital letters within hashtags, anything that's going to be able to have those same concepts of when you're writing a blog post, you leave a lot of white space so that people can read more. You add photos so that it's more engaging. Same thing with hashtags. Look at them, make sure they're easy to read. Don't put 10 words together. But you guys know what to do there. It adds not only playfulness, but what a great brand connection. What a great voice, showing that we not only thought about his tweet and listen, but appreciated connecting to him, again, on a human to human level. Going back to that idea of the dinner party. If someone said this to you at a dinner party, you wouldn't just ignore it and walk away. So don't ignore comments like this on Twitter either. Make sure you're going in and engaging with them. Another funny octopus tweet back here. It's for a buddy. Funny, that's what Edgar tells the counter when he buys a second ice cream cone for himself. Super simple, doesn't have very much to do with providing any social media value tips to you, but what it's providing, again, is knowing that we are there, and it's providing that smile on your face that gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling that Edgar's brand does care about you. Last one here, suction cuppies, a blessing and a curse. Again, we have this awesome internal document that'll allow you to see language that can be funny to use, like suction cuppies. What a great term. So easy, so simple. Again, staying on brand voice. We are a quirky brand, so keeping that within our Twitter chats as well is an awesome way to get recognized, to make sure that people are really following along and knowing who your brand is and why you care about your followers so much. Cool. So influencer marketing, going back to this idea of reaching out, getting those retweets, curated content, stuff like that. We'd like to say small is the new big these days. So don't go out and just get followers to get millions of followers. That small engaged community is really going to be who is going to be your strongest Twitter advocates. And smaller influencers will tell your story. So going out there and reaching out to these larger brands and influencers is a great thing to do. However, don't forget about the little guys. They are the ones who care about your story, and they're the ones whose community knows them personally. In order to trust someone, in order to know someone is there for you, you do have to know that they are connected to your story in a real way. So smaller influencers can actually be those who are going to tell your story best. So don't shy away from those accounts who might not have 10,000 followers quite yet. They still probably have that really strong connection with their current followers, and they'll tell your story in an authentic way because they care about giving the people they know who they're following all of the relevant and best information that's out there. Cool. So this is also going back to this idea of creating raving fans. As the market starts to change in any industry, who are those fans who are going to stay loyal to you because they love you as a person? And one of the ways that you can start to think about this and really get it out there is thinking about this term that you want to fall in love with your customers, not your product. So yeah, be passionate about the product, be passionate about the content you're creating, but make sure, again, you are building that value in and you are showing your customers love along the way. And this can be illustrated as the market changes and creating raving fans of something that's going on within MeetEdgar's own industry right now. And that is all of these changes in social media. So previously, MeetEdgar was this tool that we advertised, recycle your evergreen content, get that same tweet out there at different times a day in order to get it in front of different people, saves you so much time. And that was our really big hook for marketers out there. And it still is that concept that we like to make sure that people are understanding in order to save you time and get all of the value you can out of your content. But again, this automated queue, this automation that we did tout so big out there with Twitter's change did add in a little bit of a roadblock. However, we've created a community and you guys are a part of that awesome community that knows, hey, when these changes happen, when that product has to change, we love the brand MeetEdgar so much. We love Laura. We love all of the people who work there so much because they care about me. They offer me value. They will go above and beyond to do what's right as a business, that we bring our community with us when times do have to change. And maybe the product has to change a little bit in order to keep up with the industry. So that is exactly what we did. Now in Edgar, when you're adding content, you can rest assured that we have taken care of all the hard work. Your tweets will never go to the same account more than once. One tweet will never go to multiple Twitter accounts more than once because Edgar's got your back. Those variations are all taken care of there for you. And again, this idea that if you build a brand that people love, when these changes come and they might have to alter their workflow because of a change in the market, it'll be something that they loyally know you're doing your best to get in there and really building that brand advocacy right in. But that doesn't mean that our main objective here at Edgar isn't to still save you time and promote your content. And that same offering is still available with Edgar with just those few variation changes. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you can create some awesome variations within your tweet. So again, thinking a lot about the actual goal of the tweet when you're adding it to Edgar. For this one right here, if you have a concert to promote, do you want your audience to take a specific action? Do you want them to sign up for an event? You want to keep your tweet really clear with the important details, like your type of event, the date, and the link. So this one right here, super short, call to action, really nice way. One little pro tip here that we do like to point out is when you do start your tweets here, making sure that you're always adding in those @ signs, adding in that connection with the community, get it to the people you want. But again, nice short, quick calls to action right here in this guy. Next, what is the goal of your tweet? Do you want your audience to use a hashtag to share their own content? Make sure that you're showing people how to do that. People are scrolling through so quickly, they don't want to have to use that brain power in order to gain that information. So go ahead and make sure that it's really clear that what you want your members to do, and providing an example like Red Bull did here is an awesome way to do that. Next, so this is actually from someone called Darren Rose, who is an awesome resource for anyone who's in the blogging community. Again, we're talking here a little bit about the fact that you can't share the same tweet to more than one Twitter account. However, right here, you can see this is the same link, just presented to people in 2 different ways. So think about how you can ask a question versus providing a tip, making sure that you're getting that content out there. However, making sure, again, that it's going to be a little bit different so you stay in line with those Twitter terms of services. From an Edgar example here, you can see that this one on the left over here is a tweet with our link in it to our blog post, just a little something in the description section that wets your whistle, lets you know what you're going to get when you actually click over to that link with the Twitter card established. When we reshare this content, look how different the one on the right looks. It might catch someone's eye a little bit differently. It's a little more bolder. The language is a little bit different. And in this one, it's not a Twitter card. It's a static image that we went ahead and uploaded here. But again, that screenshot is still providing so much value, so much great information right within that screenshot text people can read. So again, thinking about if you want to introduce a blog post with a link one time and a headline and a static photo the next time, anything creative to kind of switch things up, but still get your message and your evergreen content out to your Twitter community to provide them that value. This is an awesome example from Vox right here. One of them is a great way to experiment. Doing something like providing someone with a longer tweet above the link, and then just a really short, quick one with the next one also allows you to get to know your community better that way. And you can multi-purpose the information you're gaining from the different parts of your business. If you run a lot of email subject test lines, take what you learn from those and utilize some of the email subjects as tweets. Which one was the winner in your A/B test? Why do you think it was the winner that way, to inform what you're actually adding here? And it can lead to really awesome results. Last year, this is an awesome one. Again, it really shows you how just a little tweak in your language can present this information in a little bit different of a light. This is our founder, Laura, here. She talked a lot about our blog posts. She goes Facebook Live a lot to introduce them, to get you guys that awesome value, so you know what you're going to get and really let you know our opinion on things. And here too, you can see that this is actually just a screenshot. So you can do things like add in these screenshots to the tweets here, or you can schedule the video right in the tweet. And it's also a great way to cross promote. So if this link right here will actually take you to Facebook Live video, if you're just following us on Twitter, if you found us there, you are now directed to our Facebook page where you can see the type of value-added content we offer there, and you can consider following there. So think of creative ways that you can get like your Facebook Live broadcasts onto your Twitter to kind of cross-promote within your communities that way as well. This one is an awesome way to think about, hey, I've shared a link with my blog post with a Twitter card. I've added a static photo with the with the link URL in it. What else can I do if I want to get this out there? Think about GIFs. You can upload GIFs into MeetEdgar's library to schedule to go out, or directly to Twitter. And it's an awesome way, again, to get that variation in there, to add personality to your brand. And GIFs are so popular right now. People love looking at them. They love finding funny ones to send to their friends. So if you're curating a great GIF stream within your blog post links, people are going to really appreciate that for the humor side too. Last year, this is a great contest. Not only is it great to cross promote, you can read here that this is actually a contest we were running on our Instagram page. However, we tweet about it. We get all of that information out. And again, it's this idea that this isn't going to lead you to any content, but we are providing you with a really fun contest. Competition is something that's built into all of us as humans. So we like to let our friends know that there's a really fun contest running. So running contests on social media is a great way to make sure that you're compelling your followers to tell their friends, oh, hey, MeetEdgar's running this really cool contest, like them on Instagram to join. And again, a really great way to know that you're able to do this and keep your followers around is if you're producing great content they want to keep following. When you run promotions, when you run contests, it's just that much more of a reason that they're like, oh, okay, all of this great content is leading to a product that really they care about me using to save time, to become more efficient. And it's not for our self-serving needs. It really is because it's a product we care and love about. Thinking about creative ways, if you're not a SaaS company, if you're a musician, think about how you can go ahead and get your different set times out there. So not only just doing a tweet with the set times in text, but doing a photo, adding in that personality, adding in, thinking when people come to my Twitter account, what do they want to know? What common questions are they getting? And providing them that content right there. So think about, even if you're not a SaaS company, if you don't have a product, what can you do in order to make sure that that content and information is getting out to your community? So with all these variations, it might take a little bit more time, obviously, in order to conduct and upload tweets you're thinking. But rest assured, MeetEdgar is not only going to be working on an awesome new feature to help you add in these variations and recycle through your evergreen content shortly. We also have a cool feature for you to bulk upload. So some things that you can do is taking time to social batch. So sitting down for a couple of hours, getting a spreadsheet out and pounding out some headlines with your URLs, doing them all at once to get into that creative space. And it really also comes from this concept that it takes about 12 minutes in order to task switch. So if you're just tweeting something out and you're having to take the time to interrupt your day, it's going to take you 12 minutes to get back into that other task that your tweet just took you away from. So that's a lot of wasted time. And that's one of the reasons that we really love for you to box out your time, make sure you're getting your tweets on the spreadsheet or up in Edgar quickly. And our bulk upload feature, you can upload a CSV. If you have any trouble with that at all, email support@meetedgar.com. More than happy to make sure that's set up for you. But it's a really awesome feature in order to get a ton of content in there at once, making sure that you rest assured you have fresh content in there going out to your community consistently. So wrapping up here, kind of thinking about what we've been talking about, all about that human to human connection. Your followers being successful is going to really bring the magic to your business. So thinking anything you can do to really connect with them in that way will add value to their day there. Every post needs to be a reaction to who your followers are. So utilize those Twitter analytics, get out there and really make sure that you're getting that awesome value to them in a way that's going to resonate at the right time with the right language, all of that fun stuff. Um, each week, go thinking about how you can innovate more. And innovation isn't just for the techies in your community. It isn't just for your developers or your marketing team. It can be something about how do you add more value than your competitors? How do you add more inspiration to someone's day? All of this fun stuff can actually be seen as an innovation in the tech industry. So thinking kind of getting into that mindset that your developers might be in every day. How do you stay agile within social media? How do you make sure you're learning? How do you make sure you're providing that content? And last but not least, we are always going to say be high touch when you do things. When you want to make sure that you're creating that established brand connection with your community, you might be thinking, hey, Megan, this is a weird thing to say. You guys are an automation tool. But more than anything, we want you to understand that you're automating for consistency. You're automating to make sure all of the hard work on your content gets seen by the majority of your followers because you truly feel that content is going to provide them value. So doing things that don't scale, like responding on Twitter really quickly, really well, making sure you're staying within your brand voice can actually be such a great way to build that engaged community who wants to talk back to you and that you've given them a reason to be there and stay. So we really, really appreciate you joining our webinar today. Again, we love, love, love to hear from you. So definitely let me know if you have any questions. Email support@meetedgar.com. If you are new, make sure that you let us know. We can set you up with a free month of Edgar. You can do that also by using this Octopus coupon here. Octopus Webinar 18 will go ahead and get you a free month if you're not using Edgar yet. Email support@meetedgar.com if you are a user, and we can set you up with a fun little discount as well. Thanks again for joining. Awesome, awesome as usual. Let us know. Comment in the links below here on anything else you'd like to learn. Make sure you let us know how the webinars are going for you. Feedback is so important as we start to kind of go along this social media journey together. Again, thanks for your time. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next